All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Bad Guys Volume 2 in association with Inappropriate Earl with Earl Skakel and the Sit Down Zumock podcast. We bring you Volume 2. Earl, would you like to introduce today's guest?
You know, I've practiced this introduction for about 2 hours now because this man has hundreds of credits, but the one that means the most to me, as you guys know, I'm a big Miami Vice fan. And
Whoa.
Oh, it's going to get deeper, brother. My personal favorite episode, let me give you some of the cast before I get to our guest. The legendary football player John Matuzak, Reb Brown, the Indian from Predator, Sonny Landham, the great Martin Ferrero, and our next guest, a man who is such a good actor that he actually made it believable that Don Johnson could beat him up. Mr. Kim Coates in the house.
Hey, man, that was done beautifully. Visor on and all. You just nailed that intro.
Now, Kim, let me ask you something. Was that the best intro you've ever had?
Sure. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I've had a few. That was pretty good. I'll tell you that, Chad.
I mean, there's not many interviews where I can bring up Reb Brown and have a smile on my face.
I know, right? Isn't that the truth? Wow. I was like 14 when I did that. That was so long ago. Holy mackerel.
But that was like when Miami Vice was really at its peak in 1987. How did you go about getting, that's one of your first TV roles, correct?
That was my first American TV role. Yeah, I'm Canadian-American, Canadian first, American second. I love both countries. I'm a pretty privileged boy to have both passports. But when I went down to New York City after I was doing Macbeth at Stratford, 1986, I was the youngest Macbeth ever. John Neville directed me, and all these New York people saw my work, and agents and managers. And they said, you got to get your ass down there right away. So I did. And sure enough, Miami Vice I got within about a minute and a half. And I paid for the lawyer. I paid for joining SAG. I think I told my dad, I think I made $18.50. And he went, that's the best $18 you've ever made, son. So that's how it all started for me.
And was it like, were you a fan of the show, or was it just a gig to you?
No, I was a fan of the show. Oh yeah, come on. If you didn't like Miami Vice back then, you weren't watching TV, or you were just too busy doing other things, I guess. But
so when you show up, you see Don Johnson and Philip Michael Thomas, are you starstruck? You're like, oh my God, I made it. I did it. I'm a Canadian.
No.
Nothing?
No, I wasn't starstruck, but I was so in it, man. I had two little scenes. My big one was in the bar, and not too many people know this, but I'll tell you guys the story. When I did that bar scene, and we didn't rehearse it that much, and Don Johnson was polite and fine with me, and I just stayed away from him because I knew he didn't like my character, and so I was just in it, and all of a sudden it came time for him to push me up against the wall, right? Well, he pushed me up against the wall, and I cracked my head open. Got 5 stitches, kept going, did the scene a couple times. Yeah, they put that Band-Aid, that liquid Band-Aid that they put on your head or your hands. They slapped some of that liquid Band-Aid on me, and I thought, wow, this is going to be a good story someday. So yeah, Johnson smacked my head against this little speaker. If you look at it, it's funny because it's right below this speaker that was on the wall, in those old bars back in the day. And there was like a little 2x4, and my head just smacked right up against it. And I didn't complain. I took it like a true Canadian would, man, and just kept on going.
Now, what do you enjoy more, doing films or TV? Because you started with Vice. Well, you started with The Boy in Blue, and then you kind of did both.
Yeah, I mean, I can honestly say that I came from the stage, really. I mean, that's where it all started with me, being on Broadway and Macbeth and Dracula in Atlanta, Les Liaisons Dangereux in Louisville, Kentucky, and the whole thing took off when Marion Doherty discovered me for The Last Boy Scout in 1991. So it was all film. Once I started films, bro, I don't know. It's all changed now. Thank goodness. I mean, when TV's good, it's the best, you know.
Can
like
I
when
bring
it's
something
really-
up right now?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
and Earl were in the same film called The Last Boy Scout. Earl, can you explain?
Well, let's just put it this way. My role was a lot smaller than Kim's. I played one of the football players. I was an extra basically, but I rocked the
Dude,
shit out
are
of
you
that.
are you a player? Did you play?
I played at Notre Dame High until I saw black kids my age, and then I was like, "Where are the golf tryouts?"
That was it. That was it. That's all you had. Wow,
Well,
you were in that movie. Were you at LA Stadium then? Were you at the stadium? Were you at
Yes,
USC?
I was. And I just remember meeting Bruce McGill, who's along with you, one of my favorite actors. And I was like, "Hey, it's D-Day from Animal House." And he's like, "I've done other things."
That's so cool. Yeah, what a dick. But I love that guy. That's funny. I've done lots of other things. Let the people have their little compliment. Let them have their compliment. Done lots of, I know. Like people come up to me all the time. We'll get into it, but Sons of Anarchy obviously is, it's pretty. But I still, when people recognize me from countless other things, and when they say Sons, I go, yeah, thanks, man. Thanks a lot.
Well, I mean, you've done so many things. It's and so is Bruce McGill. He's like,
yeah.
By the way, Earl and I have been texting all day. Your IMDb, you've done everything. You're good.
Rumor has it, right, boys? I don't know. Like I've got over 140. I looked today myself, and I don't know what happened. I guess it's been a pretty good run. That's a Ron Perlman. Have you talked to Perlman? He's been on your show yet, Chad? Ron Perlman?
He hasn't. We've only done 2 of these series. It's Vernon's, or I'm sorry, Earl and I's podcast, and we had Vernon Wells. He was our first guest for the Bad Guys series. We have a series. Are you familiar with Vernon Wells?
Yeah.
You are our second guest with our combined podcast. We want to our favorite bad guys, and you're one of them.
It's good. I'm glad I made that cut. That's very impressive. You guys are obviously a lot smarter than you look. I think that's amazing.
Don't let looks fool you. I'm dumb as a rock. I can't even follow the plot line of Porky's.
Hey, Kim, I'm going to tell you right now, we're both comedians. Earl is a paid regular at the Comedy Store when you could go see comedy in LA.
Oh, that's great, man.
So we're like comics, and we love film, and we love this whole. So this is a huge honor to have you on.
How are you guys doing without the comedy and the stand-up right now, boys? I mean, is it killing you? Like, really, what's happening?
I mean, it's pretty rough. It's a rough business mentally when we can do it.
Anyway, yeah.
So it would be like, I guess you couldn't act if we said, hey, you guys stay home the next 8 months. You're a working actor, and like it's. No,
but if I may, Earl, I think it's even worse because stand-up is like theater. It's like musicals. It's like people need to pack in, and I can still. I mean, I'm doing a big thing in Toronto right now, and with masks on and shields and we're filming. People are getting back, but stand-up and live theater and Broadway, it's so fucking sad. It's gonna come back, but it's gonna take a while. That's the difference,
Oh, for sure. I mean, I did a few shows last weekend with Rob Schneider, and we were
love him.
Oh, he's the best. Like if everyone were like him in the entertainment business, I wouldn't be so bitter.
I know, right? He's the best, man. He's good. What'd you do? Was it a virtual thing?
We just did stand up in Irvine, which is you're from LA, so you know where Irvine is.
Yeah.
But it was in a parking lot of a baseball field, and
no way. That's amazing.
People were wearing masks, but you could literally see
amazing.
The front row was crying, not because of my act, but just because they were so
happy.
Yeah, they were like, me and Chad are right now. I mean, I'm getting to talk to Tig, man. This is pretty cool.
No, it's great. No, it's great. Good for you. That brought some goosebumps. You telling me that story. I think that's amazing. And there's going to be a lot more of those days coming up.
I hope. I know Chad's killing it in Florida, which is a little more open than California for sure. So
Florida, the bastard stepchild, little Florida, man. I don't know.
I was living. Hey, Kim, I was in LA. I called it quits. I'm out. Entertainment beat me up. I'm out. And I moved to Florida right before this pandemic hit, just because I was done. I couldn't handle it. So a guy like you won Hollywood. I mean, look at your IMDb. You beat the system. You're in the system. I mean, how does that make you feel?
You know, pretty good, bro. I mean, I was so naive. I'm not kidding you guys. Like, I was just this tough kid who stumbled into theater, who stumbled into Stratford, who stumbled into on Broadway, Streetcar Named Desire. I was the 8th Stanley ever. I took over for Aidan
What's your
Quinn.
nationality, by the way? Are you Italian?
I'm not. I'm English, Scottish, and Irish, really. My mom and dad are all from, no. But I play a few Italians. I play a few Greeks with my blue eyes somewhere, wherever they are. No. Yeah, Earl. Yeah. So no, I don't have an Italian, but I feel like I'm Italian. Fuck, I get cast, and it's enough Italians for sure. But no. But sorry, boys. But just to finish this off, I'm like you. I'm like anybody. I just worked really hard, and I guess I stumbled enough times that it didn't piss me off. And there was times where I thought I never thought I'd quit or anything. I always had enough of that going, but I never knew if I was going to really, really make LA. And it wasn't like these young kids now that come out of school and they go, oh, I'm just going to go to LA and New York. I'm going to go. Don't do that. Don't do that. Unless you're super, super lucky or super, super beautiful, or you have nepotism on your side, it's not going to work for you. Stay in Seattle, stay in Baltimore, stay in Tampa Bay, get to know people, do little on your iPhone, make little movies, take classes, take stand-up.
Yes.
I mean, listen to you guys and your background in comedy and how fucking good both of you are. And the business is that tough. For me, improv was my favorite shit. That's why I get more movies than, I love it. My middle name is Improv, and I fucking love it. And if you're not afraid to fail, then you'll never fail. And that's the truth. So I stumbled into Hollywood, and they accepted me. And you know what, boys? Like, honestly, I didn't give a fuck. Like, I didn't give a fuck.
That's encouraging, man.
I wasn't worried whether it was going to work or not. But it wasn't until Black Hawk Down in 2000, right? That film. That's when my core of like William Fichtner, Ewan McGregor, Eric Bana, they're my boys. We talk every day. And there's something about doing a war movie like that for 5 months in a Rabat, back when the world was the way it was in 2001, that those relationships have stayed with me forever. So I don't need to live in Hollywood, man. I work there, you know?
That's awesome.
Hey, you were in Prison Break. You win.
What was my name? Sullins, I think. I played a guy called Sullins.
I'll tell you what your name is. Richard Sullins. Thank you very much.
Sullins. Yeah. I had short hair like you, Earl. I wish I was as funny as you are back then. Yeah, there you are. You're the younger version of me, man. There you are. That's it.
Well, maybe in the Mayans, I could be Tig Jr.
You can be whoever you want. Good luck with that. That's a fucking crazy shit.
So, Earl, when did you come across Kim Coates? Like, what was your whole thing with him?
I swear to God, it was from Miami Vice, and
yeah, it's great. It's great.
It really is my favorite episode because obviously I don't want to take this to a sad level, but I was a huge Goonies fan, and John Matuzak was like, I'm sad he passed so early.
Yeah,
and,
really too bad.
And Big Wednesday is although I'm not a surfer, it's one of my favorite movies. Just
we had William Catt. We talked to William Catt from Big Wednesday,
and Red Brown was in that. And, Indian from Predator, Sonny Landham. It's just so that's where I knew him, and then I saw him. In Last Boy Scout, CSI Miami, where he's like a good-looking. You're good-looking now, but you're like clean cut.
He's
very good looking. Yeah,
he's engaged to a nice lady, by the way.
Way to go!
Absolutely.
Good for you.
Your career, Kim, is going so well that you did a profitable hockey movie. That's rare.
Hey, man, that first one was amazing. Michael Dawes who directed that. You guys know Michael Dawes. He's a funny fucker. And we had everybody, Jay Baruchel, Liam Schreiber, and Scott. I'm William Scott. Honest to God, we had so much fun on that freaking movie. And it was a hockey movie. And I'm Canadian, played hockey my whole life. And when my agents called up and said they've offered you the head coach First thing out of my mouth was, what, they don't think I can play anymore? Just because I'm 48 years old, I can't play anymore. And Michael Dawes said, yeah, you might be a bit old to be on the team, but you sure can coach. And God, that was fun, man. Oh, fuck. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm a huge hockey man, and I know the actual story. That's based on a Doug Smith, who was
good for you. Good for you.
A bar bouncer who could fight. He could barely skate, and I'm just amazed that. Was it weird, like like hockey is kind of like surfing, I guess, where it's a niche sport?
I don't think so. I mean, yes and no. I mean, hockey is much bigger than surfing, I think, in a way, in the world, for sure. Europe is crazy for hockey. Canada, that's our national sport. But Sean William Scott, who played Dougie's part, lead of the movie, he just thought he could kind of show up and just be on skates. And someone forgot to tell him, bro, you got to get on skates for 3 months before you come and play on this semi-pro team, the Halifax Highlanders. And so he was freaked out when he first got here. His double was so amazing, looked just like Sean from behind, from the side. He did 3/4 of the skating in that movie. But all the fighting Sean William did himself, man. I was proud of him. And he's such a funny guy and such a sweet boy. A lot of fun.
To portray the coach as, you reminded me a little bit of John Brophy, who was a Toronto Maple Leafs coach. And I know that since you're from a Saskatoon, maybe little Wendell Clark.
Little Wendell Clark, man. Kensington, Saskatchewan. Yeah, those are the days. John Tortorella is actually who I based the character on. I got to talk to John one time on the phone. I talked to a couple of other coaches and did my little homework. And he's a great, solid hockey man. I love him to death.
Oh, he's probably my favorite coach to see do the post-game interview because
he'll fuck it up and he tells the truth, and that's it. He gets cut, he gets bleeped all the time. Can I swear on this? Okay.
What do you think? We look like we just fell off an Amber Alert. Like, do you do a lot of research for, like, let's say Sons of Anarchy, where I love the casting of that show because.
Earl, can I stop you before because we're going to talk about Sons? It's going to happen.
Please.
I want to know now.
Yeah.
Now, Earl loves hockey. Who was the guy you roasted? Who was the roast guy, the hockey player you roasted?
He was the only player to ever play 21 years with the same team. It was Shane Doan, who I believe was from Western Canada.
Shane Doan. Yeah, I know Shane Doan. Why do I know Shane Doan?
Well, they played in Winnipeg, I think, his first season or two, and then they moved to Arizona.
Jets. They went to the Coyotes. Yeah. Shane Doan. Yeah, man. You roasted him? What do you mean you roasted him? Like on your show?
Kim, here's the thing about Earl. He's Comedy Central used to have a thing called Roast Battle, and he was like the roast battle guy. He started Roast Battle at the Comedy Store. Jeff Ross put it at the Comedy Central, and then Earl became the first season, like he beat Jimmy Dore, everybody, and he roasted all these famous people. And I know, hockey in Canada, and I know that situation, so that's why I want to give this assist to Earl.
Was that fun, Earl? Was that like great? Like, did you get some punch back? Like, what happened there?
I mean, it was amazing to on the dais, the roast dais with me was a guy by the name of George Larac, who
he's my boy.
Whoa.
George is my boy. He got COVID. Did you know that? He was very serious. Yeah, he's okay now. He's all right. But we were talking. Yeah, he's that guy. Knowing it has a bigger heart than him. Go ahead.
No, I mean, I'd never seen a 350-pound vegan before. So.
No, and his hands, as you know, are the size of your head and your shirt and your neck. Like,
and I have a big head.
George, and you have a big head. George's hands are like that big. They're big.
Well, he was so nice.
Yeah, sweetheart. Real sweetheart.
I walked up to him and I said, "Hey, it's an honor to meet you, Venus Williams." And we took it from there.
No, and it went really well from there, I can imagine.
He was very nice.
Bob Probert, Wendell Clark. I mean, these guys who are like some of the toughest fighters in the history of the NHL, you know what? They're all fucking nice guys. they're all kind of teddy bears, and then they lose it on the ice. They lose it on the ice, and they have to. I think they have to, retreat, and they're always sore. They're taking painkillers half the time. I mean, honestly, it's a very respectable but not champion position to be a tough guy in the NHL, like a real goon. And George was better than that. Bobby Probert was certainly better. Wendell Clark was way better than that. But if you can duke it out and you bash your fists around, your face around like that for game in and game out, you got to have a special heart to get through that night in and night out, I think.
Oh, I think it's probably the toughest job mentally in sports, just because it's like a mob hitman. They're forced to
All the
fight.
time.
If you don't fight, we got 10 guys in Moose Jaw who will fight. So
yeah, no, that's so true.
go out and fight Derek Bugard, who was 6'8".
That's right. That's right.
So I was really happy that you made a hockey movie and such a great cast. And
thanks. Yeah, we did two of them. We did another one. Jay Baruchel directed the second one. It wasn't quite as received like the first one, but it was still just as much fun. So glad I was in both of them.
Oh, Jay did a fantastic documentary. It's a bit sad because I think it's called Hockey Enforcers. I believe it's on Netflix.
It is. You're right. I haven't seen it, but I hear it's great. It's pretty sad though.
It's really amazing. It's kind of sad where some of these, like Probert, where
I know.
He ended up, and but let's get to happier talks, Kim. I don't want to just bring you down.
I'm ready.
So you go from 87 to, I mean, where it all broke out. Go ahead, Earl.
I mean, we could talk Battlefield Earth. I mean, we could
We don't have to. We can move over that if you like.
No, we have to talk that. We have to talk Battlefield Earth.
My friend Jay wrote it. Believe me, he would like us to move on. What was it like doing that?
That fucking movie, man. Like, honest to God, it was no way near as bad as people said it was. It had no shot. It was produced by a Jew. It was directed by a Buddhist. It was starring a Scientologist. Barry Pepper's a Christian. Forrest Whitaker, like me, is just a wacko spiritualist. I mean, we had the greatest non-religion fucking people working together, a great DP. We shot it all in Dutch, all with the green background. It was so weird. But honestly, bro, the script needed to be better. No offense, but it needed to be better. And everyone tried so hard. And they had behind the scenes photographers coming on set, taking behind the scene pictures and putting them out there in all those shit fucking magazines. And, we opened at $3.22. We had no shot. And the movie, it's too bad because parts of that movie weren't Oscar material, but parts of that movie were pretty freaking good, man. So it was kind of too bad to see.
I mean, what's it when you're on a film like that and do you have a sense that this might bomb? And I'm really not.
Is Chad laughing his head off right now? Is that him in the background? Is that
yes.
Yeah, good. There he is. Don't mute it. Don't mute it. We're not afraid of you.
You're killing. As a comic, you're killing right now.
No, I really.
Sorry, Earl.
No, I'm not giving you shit. I mean, when you're in a movie that, I guess you could say that movie bombed, but it's got a great cast. Is there a feeling in the middle of filming that it may bomb, or do you hope for the best?
I'm gonna be really fucking honest with you guys, like 100%. When they offered me that film, I was the fourth guy cast. I heard it was John Travolta. Oh wait, Battlefield Earth. Oh wait, L. Ron Hubbard. Oh fuck. Scientology, man. I know nothing about it. I don't want to know anything about it. I've got Kim Coates, my family. I'm good. Whatever people want to believe in, let them. Just be kind. Be nice to one another. Don't be a fucking idiot. So I'm thinking, do I need to read the book? And then I go, someone tells me, it was on the bestsellers list for like 3 or 4 years, like New York bestsellers list for like in the early 80s. It was, so I'm going, well, that's it. And then all of a sudden I hear Barry Pepper's doing it. I'm going, I like Pepper. And then I hear Forrest Whitaker signed on. I'm going, no way. How do I? And then they offer you the kind of money they offered me. Of course I'm going to do this fucking movie. I mean, of course I'm going to do it. I'm not playing anything that I wouldn't like. I don't do pedophile. I don't do any fucking. I don't do that shit. This wasn't that. Now, Carlo did have to learn to drive a fucking F-18 in about a week and a half. I'm not sure how that was based on any kind of reality, but I didn't care. It was a sci-fi movie. I got to hang with I got to fly in Travolta's plane. I had a great time. And then the movie just fucking bombed, and that was really too bad.
I mean, when that happens, you just say fuck it and move on to the next project, or do you stew on it a little bit?
Oh, I didn't stew 2 minutes because, I knew we were done the day before we opened in Las Vegas. A couple reviews came out. They liked me, they liked Barry Pepper, and boy, did they hate everything else. And I thought, well, I guess we're not going to make that back end deal that I signed. I guess that's out the fucking window. Oh, come on, you guys know that's like 2000, like 1999. Like I'd already had 3 movies in the can by then, and they're all and then Black Hawk Down was right at Pearl Harbor right after that. So I don't, all the good and all the bad, as long as there's no ugly. I can't stand ugly. If someone gets ugly, I'm gonna fucking knock you out. There's no ugly. You can be bad, you can be good, but don't be ugly. I'll fucking knock you out.
Well, when you say ugly, you don't mean physical looks. You mean be difficult to work with?
Yeah, being difficult, being a yeller and an abuser on set, or being, you're woe is me, you're a prima donna. I'll fucking knock you out. That's what I mean.
Goddamn, Tim, I'm going through your IMDb. You've been in every fucking movie. You've been in everything. Jesus.
You should be my agent. I didn't know that. Really? Wow. Okay. That's great.
Trust me, you don't want Chad as your agent. You'll be working at Burt Reynolds Dinner Theater in Tampa.
I love it.
I've got to say, my favorite guilty pleasure TV show in terms of suspension of disbelief was Stephen Bochco's Blind Justice, which was about a New York street cop loses his eyesight and he's still allowed to carry a gun. I'm not sure what drugs were on that set, but
boy, I don't either. I don't know that show.
It lasted about four episodes. I mean, it was
okay.
But a show came along called Prison Break, which replaced Blind Justice in my heart. Can you talk about your experience on that show? Because that show is like almost fantasy in terms of the plot.
Yeah, man. I didn't, I actually was up for a part called Teabag, who became a regular. Robert Knepper played that part. I was up for that. I read it and I said, no, it's not for me. I don't want to do that, but that's fine. I wish them well. And then a couple years, maybe 1 year goes by. Yeah. Second year, I get a call from my BFF, William Fichtner, great actor, incredible actor, Black Hawk Down, done a million things. He was one of the leads on Prison Break. They wanted to bring his character in to play this cop who was kind of high on drugs all the time. And they were going to break out of prison and they were going to have Malone chase these guys, right? So Fichtner goes, Coatsy, do I do this thing? And I go, fuck yeah. Yeah, sure. And so he goes, well, if I'm doing it, can you? And I go, if there's a part, well, sure enough, about halfway through that season, and they moved from Chicago, where they filmed the first season, they filmed the second season in Dallas. And so I get this call about halfway through, and they said there's a 3 or 4 show arc with this guy, this special force or special ATF guy who's going to come in and make it really hard for Bill Fichtner. And I said, done. I'll do it for free. Anything that I can fucking bust my buddy and make it hard for him, I'm in. We had a blast.
Well, let's get back, because I find it interesting that you auditioned originally for the role of Teabag.
No, I didn't audition. I refused to. No, I didn't. They asked me to just think about it, take a couple of meetings, and I said, no, it's not for me. It's the part I don't want to play. So I didn't even go through the process at all.
Oh, okay. Have you turned down roles because that were similar to that? Like you just didn't like the character and you just like,
I've been lucky enough, Earl, to turn down a lot of stuff, a lot of stuff that for whatever reason, it wasn't right, or I didn't like the the writing. Well, it's always about the writing. It's always about the writing, mostly. Battlefield Earth, I guess, disproved that a little bit, but it's not quite always about the writing. But it's mostly about the writing. And I've said no to a lot of things, but yeah, I'm in a good place. I've had a pretty good run. I get to say,
So Kim, let me ask you this real quick, because we even like being in Hollywood, I've met my heroes. I've got to meet all of them and interview them. What was your oh shit moment? Like, I can't believe this is happening. What was the moment that you remember right now?
I have to say, and this, Earl, this has to do with you. It does. It has to do with you and me in a movie called The Last Boy Scout. True story. I thought I'd fucked it up forever. I thought I would never work in Hollywood ever again. Marion Doherty, who exploded me when she saw me on stage on Broadway, and Last Boy Scout, the late Tony Scott, who I loved so much. And
I met him.
Wow.
Yeah.
Was he crazy? Did he have a cigar? Did he have his pink hat on? Like,
it was very brief. It was very memorable for me, but forgetful for him.
Was it at a club? Was it at a, like, where was it?
It was on actual movie set. My friend TJ Miller was in a movie with him, and he introduced me. And he just kind of like more or less introduced me, and it was very passing, but I was like, I'll remember this forever.
Yeah, he's an amazing guy. So sad what happened to him. But anyway, I'm in LA. I auditioned for Chet, or whatever my name was on that movie. And I think it was Chet. And anyway, I Joel Silver in his Hawaiian shirt is sitting there. We're in Hollywood. We're in the Warner Brothers lot, and I get the part, and it was good money, and I just couldn't believe it. And my first day of set, was the little scene I had with Damon Wayans where I punch him by this newspaper stand, and I knock him out. And I go, football player doesn't look too tough. Boom. And I remember putting on my clothes and my shoes, and I said and I'm in like a room like the size of a bathroom. I have Kim who? What? Who? I'm in a little honey wagon, if that, sharing it. I think I shared it with some guy. It was really bad, but I put these clothes on, and the shoes were so slippery. They were like so slippery. And I remember going to the head costumer and saying, these shoes are, and they go, just put some Coca-Cola on the bottom, scrape them on the pavement. There's nothing we can do about it. And I went, all right. So I go to the head stunt guy, and I go, hey, just nothing for nothing. These shoes are really slippery. He goes, fine, we're fine. We'll be fine. We do the scene, and sure enough, it comes time for the punch. And we reverse the punch, and Damon's got sunglasses on, and we do it a few times. It's all good, and everyone's watching. Willis isn't there, just Joel Silver and Tony and 1,000 other people. And it was a hot day in LA, and over an overpass. And I just remember Tony going, okay, it's fucking great. It's great. We got that. That's great. It's great. Now, one more. Just go. Really go. We got it. Just fucking go, Kim. Something really go. All right. So we go and we get ready to set up. I punched him right in the face. My back foot slipped and my fist went right into his glasses. Damon falls down. I pulled the punch a bit. Obviously, I didn't really, but I hit him right. Glasses come off, and I really did. I saw my whole career, like I see out of the corner of my eye, like I went down, and people came around and pushed me back, and the stunt guy came by right away and goes, "Wasn't your fault, man. Wasn't your fault. Those fucking shoes. Those fucking shoes, man." And so I just was so appalled. Anyway, Joel Silver, Tony Scott, they're all coming. And you know what happened? Damon Wayans stood up and he said, I'm good. No problem. Accidents happen. And I fucking remembered that, man. I remember that for the rest of my life. Shit happens. Stuff goes down. And if you're a man about it, and if you're okay, you do exactly what Damon Wayans did. And I gave him a hug, and I learned a lot that day, man. I really did.
Wow.
I'm gonna go and watch Last Boy Scout again.
Oh, it's a fun little scene, but
movies.
that's not the big scene, Earl. The big scene's where I get to knock Willis out. The cigarette falls out of his mouth, and I remember going to the Canadian premiere. I was filming in Toronto, and Warner Brothers called and said, "Would you go to the Toronto theater for the big opening on a Friday night?" I said, "Sure." And I'm sitting there in the audience like everybody else. It was packed. And this guy's at the front, like you, or all look just like you. He's down at the front. He's got the mic. Very good looking guy. And he goes like this. All right. So we got a very special thing tonight. We got one of the one of the lead actors of the movie, Canadian. He's here. He's going to say hi. Kim Coates. No one knew who the fuck I was. I go to the front and I say, well, first of all, a couple things. Number one, I'm not the lead actor in this movie. Number two, if you like Bruce Willis, you're going to really love this film. And if you don't like Bruce Willis, you're still going to really love this film because I knocked the fucking shit out of him. And everybody's, yay! So I went back and sat down, and sure enough, that big scene, man, when I came on, all the heads would turn around. Where's that guy? There he is. Anyway, pretty funny.
Earl, did you go to the last Boy Scout
the premiere? Did you go?
Let's just say I wasn't on the invite list, Mr. Coates, to be honest with you.
All right. You never know.
I think I went to the porno theater next door and thought I could.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
I mean, I don't know who still sees porn in the theater, but hey, to each their own.
Fuck, I remember
how did
those days in New York. Anyway, go ahead.
Have you ever turned down a role you regretted?
Oh, I'm sure I have, but I don't really remember now, to be perfectly honest.
Like a movie like Ferris Bueller's Day Off or something?
Something like that, yeah. I'm sure I don't remember, but I do remember seeing who got a part that I didn't get and going, oh, that guy sucks. Or, oh, that guy was fucking good. Like, I like having a reaction. Either the guy just didn't, or the guy was really good. I like that even more when they're really fucking good.
Yeah. No, I had a friend of mine who auditioned for the Bobby part in Sons of Anarchy. And he really did look just like Mark
Boone Jr. Wow.
But I don't know. He's like, I would have been better. I'm like, I don't know about that, dude. But
Wasn't that funny? We can talk about Sons now if you guys like. I mean, that was pretty,
let me do this right now, because 87, you got Miami Vice. You did this. Go IMDb him, follow him on Twitter, everything. But now you're the guy on Sands of, like, how does that happen? How do you feel? Like, what's everything, your emotions from that?
It was just one of those things where my wife, God bless my wife. I mean, we've been married for 34 years. It's almost a record in Hollywood. She put up with all those rough years and good years and rough years and good. I mean, she really did, because I kept going, I don't want to be a regular on a TV show. I just want to keep doing my movies. I don't want that in the mid 90s, the late 90s, the early 2000s. And then all of a sudden, Sons of Anarchy comes along, and it was just a part that I got really lucky to get, and they really wanted me. And I said yes. And I said to Diana, my wife, here we go. And 7 years. I mean, you guys know this. You guys knew this before me. I'm just an idiot. I had no idea the power of television. When you're on a fucking show like that, and remember when we opened, it was only like, it was The Walking Dead, it was Breaking Bad, it was Mad Men, it was us, it was the Game of Thrones. I mean, for cable, we 12 million viewers a week. I mean, we were killing it, and I had no idea. Of before I was, oh, you're that guy. Then I became Kim Coates, Chad, like everyone knew who I was, and it was an adjustment, but I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for that opportunity to be in a place where we can afford to put, Brenna, she's gonna be a bigger star than me, that kid, NYU Tisch Acting Academy. She's not going to NYU if her dad's not on Sons of Anarchy, like we're just not gonna go 70 grand a year in debt. We're just not gonna do that. So I don't know. It was the right time, and the stars aligned. And getting back to what Earl said about his buddy who read for Bobby, I really think, I mean, come on. Those 10 leads, we had 10 leads, 2 women, 8 guys, all the guest stars, all the recurring. Wendy O'Brien, who cast that show, how amazing were all of us in what we got cast as? Like, what a bunch of gnarly fucking faces. Charlie was beautiful. We'll give Charlie the beautiful card. But the rest of us were just Tommy, scars for days. Booney, 400 pounds, but amazing. Ryan Hurst, like me with my freaking nose and I didn't even know what the Hells Angels were. I mean, I did, but I don't know, man. I just thought that they all knew what they were doing. And we got real lucky with that show. It was so good.
Well, I think that's what was one of my favorite parts was the almost oddball casting of, like I know Scott Glenn was the original. Clay
Oh wow,
Helton.
you know, I love that you know this shit, man. That's so cool.
Well, it's called being a stand-up comic, Kim, and having about 20 hours of free time a day.
I want to be you when I come back around Mother Earth. I want to be you.
Well, I'd like to be you, so we can switch.
So
now.
we can swap. Okay, good. Good.
But I mean, like,
I hope it feels good to know how many times we've Googled you today, both of us. We've
Embarrassing.
Googled you a lot.
Embarrassing.
but I mean, the casting, like, if you were, and maybe I wouldn't be a good casting director, but if you said, like, I could kind of see Scott Glenn as the leader of a biker gang because he's weathered, and I mean this in a nice way. He's kind of weathered and tough looking. But if you were to say to me that Ron Perlman would be the leader of a basically Hell's Angels gang, and Charlie Hunnam would be basically a model looks and have that work, and have you, who I think was just coming off of CSI Miami, has pretty
clean cut,
and I would. This isn't going to work. It was an amazing cast. You guys seemed like you were having. It's weird for someone to watch a show, and you guys seemed like you had fun.
We had a ton of fun. And for the people on your incredible podcast that don't know this, they shot the pilot without myself and Ron Perlman. They shot the pilot with Tig didn't exist, but Emilio Rivera played the part of the kind of bastardized sergeant at arms for the club. And he's Latina and he's an incredible actor. And they realized, hang on a second, what are we doing here? We want the Mayans, hang on. And then Scott Glenn, unfortunately, it wasn't his acting. His acting was amazing, but there was no chemistry between him and Katie. There was just nothing going on. And so John Landgraf at FX said, we're going to push all the chips in the middle of the table. We're going to spend $1.2 million. We're going to reshoot the pilot. We got to get somebody. That was me. We got to get somebody. That was Ron Perlman. And we shot 15 days of the pilot again. Kept some sequences, changed others. And that was John Landgraf going, the whole studio, not money-wise, but awards with The Shield. The Shield was amazing for FX. Then they started doing some really cool shit. But Sons of Anarchy put them over the finish line. And that's what really blew them over the top. And we were pretty lucky. That show, it's one of the only shows in the history of television, I've been told, that never, ever went even or down. It just went up the whole 7 years. It just kept going up.
Well, I think it was, and I'm just an idiot fan, Mr. Coates.
We love idiot fans, Earl.
I'm sure you do.
We got a lot of them, so you're all right.
I'm king of the idiots.
We're all idiots.
But the bad guys on that show each season were so good, and like Billy Brown was amazing, and
yeah, man.
And Harold Perrineau, I think you said.
Yeah, Harold Perrineau. Yeah, he played Pope, man. He was we were the whole fifth season, him and me. I mean, that was some pretty tough shit to do with him. Yeah, pretty tough.
Was there ever a chance that, because in that scene where you guys kill him, I mean, you almost died. Was there ever a chance of them killing you in that season?
All I know is from the beginning of 5, 6, and 7, Kurt Sutter would tell us of the leads, you're going to die this year. So Ryan Hurst was told he's going to die. And I remember reading the scripts. My daughter dies, burns in front of me. That was so hard and harrowing. And then Opie dies, we're in prison. That was so fucking sad and crazy. And I remember I'm reading the scripts. I'm going, do I fucking die? Like, why didn't he tell me that so I knew I wasn't going to, but it sure made it look as if Tig had bought the bullet there. In the last couple of episodes of season 5, it really looked like it was his time, but it was Pope. Funny story. So when Harold gets cast, I was a big fan. He was a big fan of mine, but we couldn't talk to one another. We refused to talk to one another. We just we didn't have, even when we rode in the same van to go to set, we just wouldn't talk, not one time. And when it was over and I plugged him and I put it right in his head and he was out and dead, and he stood up and 120 people went, that's a wrap for Harold. He looked at me, I looked at him, and it was like the movie 10. I ran at him. He ran at me. We fucking hugged one another. Went, I love you, man. He goes, no, I love you more. I love you, man. I couldn't either. And it was just like that. It was just so like we got to shed that fucking hard writing and just go, much respect. That's the kind of guest stars Chad and Earl we had on that show. People couldn't wait to work on Sons, man. We were pretty lucky.
Well, it reminds me of another character you had to interact with. I've seen every episode. Ungodly.
I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah.
And I would say your introduction to the Walter Goggins character, Venus Van Dam, when you guys were blackmailing the city council. I mean, how did you guys film that scene and not die of laughter?
It's just for those of you who have seen it, this will make sense. For those of you who haven't seen it, too bad. I'm not going to explain anything. It is what it is. When I found out that Tig, after the death of his daughter, and he's lost his way, Kurt Sutter said there's going to be, and then Opie dies. He said there's going to be something so crazy for you, something so crazy. And that craziness turned out to be Venus Van Dam. And I remember hearing that Walton, and he and I were big fans of one another, was going to get those tits on and shave his legs and just do her thing, her thing. I thought, all right. I called Walton up and I said, I don't ever want to see you on set when I'm on set, when you're going all through all the prosthetics and you're doing all your thing, because he's just an amazing actor and I knew he would do a lot of research. The first time I ever saw her was on that day when Tig walks in and there she was straddling that 400-pound city council guy with a ball in his mouth. And all I knew was, I said, get the cameras rolling. That was as real as it gets. I never saw him until that moment when I walked in, and that fucking camera was on me, and it was brrrr, and that was as real as it got, for sure.
Wow.
Really
and then
cool.
You guys kind of had like a really sweet romantic.
It's called the love story, Earl. It's called the love story. Love story. Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
yeah, man. I had fucking. No, I get it, man. I get it. You knuckleheads are just like everybody. I get it. And no, seriously, I remember people coming up to me in the street, going, "Hey, man, I'll fucking tell you straight up. That's acting. That's." You're a fucking good actor, man. I love Tig, but that was I go, yeah, that's right. It's called acting. That's right. What's your next question? What's your next statement? You know what I mean? So, but I'll tell you what, fuck. I think Tig was the only character who could have pulled that off, like he was so whack and so lovable and so spited and then loved, and then it became him and Tommy. We became the moral compass of the club by the end, and it was the perfect for me to work with Walton. I thought if he can do that and go there, it's gonna be easy for me. I mean, it was amazing. It was amazing.
Now, I don't know if you're allowed to tell us this. You can just give me a little wink in the eye if you can't, but the follow-up show to Sons of Anarchy, the Mayans, is doing very well, and they have every now and then some cameos. Robert Patrick and Tommy Flanagan and Rusty Coons have been popping up on the show. Is there a possibility for season 3 of the Mayans that Tig may?
I don't think so. Michael Orenstein and DL Happy. I mean, there's a bunch of. Tommy and I were in DL in a way by the last couple of seasons. DL was such a pivotal part playing Happy on that show. But me and Tommy were the two leads that survived, right? So I don't know. For me, honestly, it would have to be good. I don't need to be on the Mayans. I don't want to be in the Mayans unless it's actually something from the Mayans that would make it worthy of me as Tig Traeger to go back to play that guy.
Right.
I wish them all the best in the world. I hope it's going to be huge, and we'll see. Right? We got a third season pickup. They're filming it right now. I'm so happy for the boys and girls on that show. I haven't seen it, but I hear it's great. But I have no answer to that really, Earl. If they came at me with, we have a 4-show arc, and monetarily and timing it all worked out, I'd ride my bike on that show again for sure. But it would have to be something. I have no interest in doing a cameo whatsoever.
Right. No, I get it. I mean, I watched it a second time, and I liked it better the second time. Just because,
cool.
I mean, your guys, it's unfair to compare it to Sons, I
Do
think.
you know Robert, Earl? Do you know Patrick? Do you know Robert?
In passing, we used to go to the
Have
same
you,
hair
Chad?
salon.
Have you, Chad? Do you know Robert? He gets us around.
I
you know
never
him?
met Robert Patrick, but obviously I'm a fan because of T2 and everything else. So no, I have not met him.
He's a really good guy, man. He's an original 1%er, man. I mean, he's been part of a club for a long time, and he's just dope. He's just a giving, straight up, complimentary, good guy and a really good actor. So whatever he's on, I think he's coming to The Walking Dead. I think I read that. Anyway,
he's doing the last season.
I think I heard that. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you been approached by The Walking Dead at this point?
No, but it's funny when Sons was over, like,
because those AMC shows, they seem to like put everybody else into them.
Yeah, no, I remember it's a long time ago now. Sons has been over since 2014, but I remember the minute it was over, I thought, well, this is a really good opportunity to get back into movies full time, and I did, and I have. But I wasn't dying to get on another TV show, like right away. And I remember they called about the Negan or the Reagan character.
Negan
character. I've never seen the show. It's kind of amazing, but I don't watch anything. I'm just useless. But anyway,
no, you're fine.
Anyway, my boy Morgan, he ended up playing the guy, and I hear he's fucking great. So
yeah,
that never went anywhere because I just wasn't interested in doing any TV at that point. But yeah,
that's interesting. So where are you now? Where do you live? Like, what's your story?
What the story is, I mean, I'm so proud of a lot of things that I've done since. Godless was, Scott Frank, Netflix 7-part Western. We got nominated for 12 Emmys, and I was there for that. And we won 3 of them. That was so huge and epic. And Bad Blood was my show that I co-produced with Mark Montefiore and Michael Conovis and Natalie Rodriguez up here in Canada for Netflix and City TV. We won them all. I won Best Actor in the show and the writing, and it never got to a 3rd season. We really wished we could have finished it off, but Netflix is a tough place. They just want you to be as amazing as that show was and win all those awards, and they got you for 2 years. They've got all the people signed on for that, and then they move on. They just want to move on. They just want to keep going and going and moving on. So we never got a chance to finish that off, but I'm grateful for that show. And yeah, man, this COVID thing has got us all wigged out, and I'm just a firm believer that it's gonna be a dark winter for sure, and then hopefully things are going to start getting better and better and better, and we'll see what happens next fall, next summer. But I'm Canadian American, so I get to hang out wherever I kind of want in either country, and I'm lucky for that and grateful.
So Kim, I think in my personal opinion, Earl's one of the funniest people I ever met my entire life.
Yeah, I can tell that.
He was passed at the Comedy Store. Joe Rogan brings his name up on this podcast. So can we get Earl in a film? Can you guys co-star in something?
Kim, I swear I did not tell him to say this.
I think you did, Earl. I think you did, but that's okay. That's all right. We worked together already. You're allowed. I mean, I'm going to keep my album for you, bro.
People love Earl. They love Earl.
Write a fucking 3-hander for you, me, and Chad. I'll get some money for it. Come on, let's go. Write it.
We'll do a hockey movie. Can I pitch a hockey movie I've been sitting on?
Right ahead.
I'm going to pitch it right now. Jason Reitman came up to me once after he saw me do stand-up. He's like, do you have any ideas? I really like you. And like,
Earl was in the Bench Warmers. He was in The Last Boy Scout. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, my IMDb has got more gaps in it than, well, never mind. I got a great idea for a hockey movie. This could be it. It's It's copywritten at the WGA. That's the Writers Guild for you guys not hip on the industry terms. All right, hear me out.
I'm listening.
It's called Black Ice, and it's about now. Listen to the whole pitch before you poo-poo it. It's about the first all-black hockey team to win the Stanley Cup. Now, here's how it comes about. They're a basketball team. Their owner.
Okay.
No, hold on. It gets worse. The owner's in the mob, so he gets put in prison. So the team goes out of business. They have no job skills other than their athletic ability. So they're like, well, we can't play basketball right now. Let's play hockey. So they get their own hockey team. They can't find a coach. So they put an ad in the Canadian paper, the Saskatchewan Press.
Sure. I've heard of that place. You did pretty good there. Go ahead. Yeah.
So the lead, the Grand Dragon of the KKK, he just lost his gig because he didn't fundraise enough. So he looks at this ad and goes, hockey, it's white players. It'll be great. This could be your role. I know you probably don't want to play a hockey coach again. So he's talking to his wife on the cell phone. He opens up the door going, yeah, the best part about this gig is I don't have to work with any. And he opens up the door and it's all black hockey players. That's all I got.
Oof.
Well,
your take.
no, like
It's a dark comedy. Get it?
I do get it. What's that movie, that Jojo Rabbit? Like Jojo Rabbit, like it got nominated for 10 Oscars, right? If you know that title, then you see Hitler on the front, he's got the must. You think, oh, this is going to be. It was so funny. Did you see that movie, you guys? Like, it was so funny. That's the only way this would work, I think. So go for it. I mean, heck, it's all about the writing. Remember, Earl? You know that.
Well, you're going to write it, so I hope you know it.
Okay, my people will call your people.
Yeah. I'll be waiting by the phone.
You let me know how that ring goes. You let me know if that ring goes. Yeah, let me know.
Kim, this was an amazing podcast. Yeah. Like, where are you on social media? Like, where can we find people?
Just Twitter. Just Twitter. Kim F. Coates. Kim F. Coates. Twitter. That's it. That's all I do. Everybody wants me to do everything else, and I refuse. I'm just doing Twitter, and I've got my own podcast like you guys now.
Where?
Yeah, Theo Rossi came up with this idea called Theory, who played Juice, right? He played Juice on Sons of Anarchy. We're best friends. And a couple of producers came up to him and said, why don't you and Coates do? Well, we're reviewing Sons of Anarchy, man. We're reviewing it, and it's taking off. It's exploding. Theory podcast. Reaper Reviews. It's on every Wednesday. It's on Apple. It's on all the iTunes stuff. It's on YouTube. I mean, what's great for Theo and I is we shot 92 episodes, 13 times 7, and which is 91. Is that 90? It doesn't matter. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Anyway, the thing is, I haven't seen half of them. So for us to review this show in an hour and 10 minutes, and we have so much fun, he and I, that for me to watch the show has been an eye-opener. We know absolutely nothing about the show, and we starred in it for 7 years. So it's fucking great. And people love that we know absolutely nothing other than what happened behind the scenes and everything, right? So yeah, Theory podcast is kind of fun. We're having a lot of fun like you guys are.
Earl, you do your thing. You close it out. You do what you do.
Well, I just want to say, Mr. Coates, this has been amazing. It really helps.
Right back at you, man.
No, I mean, you get it. You're a successful actor. You could be a dick. You'd be like, who are these jokers? I don't know these guys. And you made me a bigger fan. I don't want to kiss your ass too much because you got to start writing that hockey movie as soon as this podcast is over. I'm sorry about that pitch. I took a shot. I took a shot. I missed.
No, you didn't miss. You didn't miss. You just took a shot. No one knows where the shot's going to land. You don't know who's going to listen to this.
Oh,
My phone's always open. We'll see what happens. You never
I know. Well, I mean, what if they're making a Hulk Hogan movie, so anything's possible.
That's right. Exactly right. Exactly.
You know, I saw Hulk Hogan's sex tape, Kim. It's It's a lot like his in-ring work. 2 basic moves and a shitty finish. Great. Now I'm doing jokes on the podcast. Great. Now I'm bombing the pig. Great.
Hey, you guys are a lot of fun. Right back at you, man. Thanks for having me. Honestly.
Thank you very much. It's the honors
Peace
movement all ours.
Stay safe. Chad, Earl, peace out, boys.
You guys
Love
are great.
Thank
Thank you
you
so much.
Goodbye. Thank
All
you,
right,
boys.
guys. Follow everyone. We'll see you soon. Good night. My name's chad-zumock. Have a great night. I think Earl's still on. Earl, you still on?
Yeah. Yes. Good night. I'm Eddie Ift.
So Inappropriate Earl, you can subscribe to right now, right?
Yes, it's on Apple Podcasts. If you don't do Apple, some people do Androids. It's on SoundCloud where it gets about 600 listens. But hey, fuck it. I do it because I get to hang out with my buddy Chad. We get to interview people we like. So I hope you listen to both of our podcasts, Chad Sit Down Zumock, and at Earl Skakel on all social media, and donate to Chad's Patreon because he doesn't tell me to say this, but we do this for free for the most part. It's a lot of work. I'm not complaining. I won't speak for Chad, but it's a lot of work getting guests, getting them to commit when they probably don't know who we are. So I don't have a Patreon because I might do an OnlyFans where I sell my dick pic for $10. But donate to Chad. Like, he works his ass off, hardest working dude I know. Yeah, $3, $50, whatever you can afford. I know times are tight right now. And coming up soon, we don't know when, but the bad guy from Cobra. You won't kill me, will you, pig?
Oh my God. That's
maybe.
Bucket list.
Well, I don't it goes to what we were saying. You gotta fucking get a hold of these guys first of all, and then they gotta reply back to you, which most don't. I don't know about you, but most don't. Most say no to me, to be honest.
Yeah.
But we have your assistant.
No, our friend, our Ashley, who's done amazing work, but I swear to God, the guy from Cobra and William Zabka are the only guys I want to talk to. And then I'll finish the podcast. I'm good.
Well, I mean, it is a limited shelf run because when you're looking at bad guys from the 80s, they're either dead or they don't want to talk to us. Well, I mean, I don't think I'm telling tales out of sorts. So I'd like to get the bad guy from Tango and Cash, but Jack Palance. But he's been dead for 15 years.
Oh, yeah, it's a problem.
We're not getting him. Or would be another good one, and we probably should do this off the air, but hey, it gives people a little bonus, is Al Leong, who you might not know his name, but he was the Asian guy in every fucking 80s action movie. He was Endo on Lethal Weapon. He's balding.
Oh, yeah. I know that dude.
He was he was in Die Hard where he steals the candy.
I know exactly who you're talking about. Yes.
So, and of course, the 2 main bad guys from Die Hard are dead. But maybe we could get Hart Bachner, who played Alice. I don't know.
Ashley Thornton, you know what to do.
And so, Chad, thank you, dude. This is 90% you're doing. This is your idea. So
I love it. I will send this for Inappropriate Earl, which you should subscribe to and leave a 5-star review. And Earl was part of my favorite podcast of all time, Roddy Piper's podcast. My favorite wrestler, my favorite people, my favorite comedic idol, Roddy Piper.
Yeah, Piper was the best. I mean, I still have his last phone message to me. So
I'm not a comedian without him. I don't care about Eddie Murphy or Dave. It's Roddy Piper. Period.
I mean, I still miss him. But these guys, Pat Patterson died today. So I'm sure ring boys everywhere are running around safe. They can go set up the rings now and not get their pee-pees touched. Well, because speaking of Piper, and it's ironic, probably one of the saddest interviews I've ever seen was when they bring up. I wish I could plug the guy's it's like one of those YouTube wrestling shows, and he does a great job. And
Chris
he
Van
asked,
Vliet?
well, no, my favorite one is called Hannibal TV, where
Yeah.
he's amazing. And I didn't know he was the guy Abdullah the Butcher gave hepatitis to. But the other, I guess Hannibal's competitor asked Roddy about Pat Patterson, and his demeanor instantly changed, and you could tell something happened. And I always used to joke with Roddy about, hey, Pat Patterson ever touch your ding-a-ling? And so RIP to Pat Patterson. I'm sure you're on your way to hell as we speak. But I guess if you can moonwalk or set up a good finish to a wrestling match, and do anything to kids. See you on the red carpet.
Shout out to Jeffrey Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell, my buddy Earl. Follow Earl on everything. Earl, this is awesome. I'll send this to you immediately.
Yeah, I'll talk to you soon. Thank you, Chad.
Bye, Earl. See ya. Thank you. That's a wrap.